Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. We here, y'all, with a pop-up show. You know what they be saying? They be having the pop-up shops. Ain't that what the girls be doing, y'all? They got pop-up, so we got a pop-up show. Alhamdulillah. We got most of the A team is here. And if y'all don't know, the A team, the A stands for Ash'ari and Athari and Ash'ari. So we got a nice little topic, man, on the quick side, man. Oh, hold on. Let me put this in our group for the other brothers. Other brothers, a few of them, they we apologize. We got some members that that can't make it. The brother Amir Khalil, he's in school. Alhamdulillah, may Allah Ta'ala make it easy for him. Old man Saleh Abdul Majid, he sleep. We just got finished talking to the brother, man. But alhamdulillah, we got a nice little conversation that we want to talk about leadership. What is it? What it should look like in our community. Who it should look like, I guess. I don't know. We gonna freestyle this one. This ain't one of the classes and one of our formal talks or whatever. This one of our relatable conversations.
Oh,
What'd you say,
hey,
Lamo?
give me 1 second, y'all. I'll
Okay.
be right back. I'll be right back in.
All right, inshallah. Yeah, we want to kick it off. We just basically want to say we are all students of knowledge. We're not muhaddithin. We're not trying to be muhaddithin. We're not fuqaha. We're not shuyukh. We all are in our studies and are respected leaders in our fields and in our spheres because of, alhamdulillah, our efforts. We all do have, we all are closely connected with certified scholars, certified teachers. So this is the stuff that we're talking about. It is definitely within perspective. Some people don't like it, but everybody don't have to like and love everything that you do. They're gonna have to respect it though, that's for sure. But alhamdulillah, we what the A team is, we kind of put this effort together. It was really organic. We all was kind of spread out doing our own things, in the community and online. And we all just, alhamdulillah, we all just got cool with each other on Facebook, running the algorithm and the algorithms. And alhamdulillah, we popped the brother back there. He coming back in. And how, we all doing the same thing. We trying to first correct Aqidah in our community, establish Aqidah in our community, and then establish Iman, structuralize Iman in the community. So we all kind of just correlated. It was never like a big sit down, and we was like, hey, listen, let's do this. We all just it was just kind of organic, and we all just kind of came together. Alhamdulillah. It was and we have brothers that's from various parts of the country. They've lived in various parts of the countries, frequent various parts of the countries slash the world as well. Have studied abroad, have studied locally. So we have an arrayed perspective, a beautiful coalition, many different perspectives. A lot of us come from the streets, still live in the community, in the neighborhood. We've been to prison. We can speak from a lot of different angles and relate from a lot of different angles. That's the beautiful thing about the A team, the Athari and the Athari team. Alhamdulillah. So we can speak literally from the inside out and not from the outside in. So alhamdulillah, that's what you'll see a lot more content as we get our schedules and stuff together because we really develop and want to make sure when we want to move right. Assalamu alaikum, Malik Robinson. He's definitely part of the A team. Alhamdulillah, the brothers they working, they putting in work right now. But if you don't see us all together all at once, then you're gonna see 2, 3, 4, 5 of us all at different times at different speeds, working on this thing. Trying to get things together in our community and in our community. Alhamdulillah. So today our topic we want to talk about leadership. What is it? What it looks like? What it should be? What it shouldn't be? What is it right now? You know what it look. Oh, Solid ain't sleep. We thought they said you would sleep, man.
Man, I'm about to on y'all. I was trying to go get a little halal platter before I take it down. I'm about to take this medicine, be out for the count on y'all.
Hey, do you got your coffee, man? Cause don't be putting us on hold when it's your time to turn to talk and you getting coffee, man. You got your drink, man.
I can't drink no coffee. I'm congested.
Why you can't drink the coffee?
Milk increases the mucus.
It does. Hell, man, Allah have to give you shifa, Habibi, and make it easy on you, man. Yeah, here struggling. Alhamdulillah. I'm glad you're here, man, because you're an important voice, man. You the what you call? Hey, we're gonna have to have a sit down. We're gonna have to have Imam Muhammad sit little Dirk down, man, because he ain't the voice. You the voice.
Oh, mashallah.
You got the youth on you. You got the youth on you, man. We need the youth.
Mashallah.
I'm moving into that close 40, so I'm not relevant no more, man.
No, to be real with you, we still relevant. They call us the middle child, right? We're the middle child because we're that age bracket between the old heads, the young guys. We're right in the middle. So we understand from that view, and we understand because the young guys seen us when we was active.
Exactly.
And they still respect us because we can relate to that. So you never think we got the ball. It's about what we do with
it. Between you and Imam Nadir, it ain't nothing nobody can say. That was the last point that I wanted to make as far as our coalition, the 18 coalition. That we got brothers that's in their 50s. So all the older brothers be like, I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. Well, we got brothers that's been doing longer than we've been alive too. And they think like what we think. So you can't get away like that. Yeah.
And can I make a point? Like, all right, that.
Oh yeah, jump straight in, take off.
We listen, right? With our coalition, right? Is no big I's, no little U's, right? Is that we listen to our older guys, especially the younger guys. We listen to them, and we take heed to what they say, and they also are able to listen to what we have to say, because they know another point of view that we take too. So it's a coalition built upon respect and love for each other. And that's one of the biggest things I love about our group, right? And none of us are resent from taking criticism from each other because we're brothers, and we're really brothers, right? So if we did something wrong, I always would ask Imam Nadir or Abu Muhammad or Khalil, am I tripping? And I'm giving them the opportunity to chastise me if I'm wrong. And that chastisement isn't to put blame on me, but to encourage me to do better and look at it from another perspective. And that's the beauty of our coalition, man. And that, you know, I appreciate all you brothers, you know, especially Imam Nadir. I got the opportunity, you know, to chill with him, even though he let Spider-Man punch me in the face. That, you know what I mean? I definitely wasn't feeling that, you know, just holding him wasn't going to be the thing. But, you know, alhamdulillah, I appreciate all you brothers, mashallah.
Likewise. Well, I definitely always just put in on that. We want to, you know, respect our elders. We got Imam Abu Muhammad on here. So always so much history when y'all rapping with the brother, when y'all in the cycle with the brother. Always so much history. So, Habibi, give us some perspective. Give us your perspective, man, on how leadership should look in our community, man. Because you know, it seems like we didn't got caught up in mimicking, you know, other people's, which is fine. You know, we can take the deen. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it seems like we didn't got into the big I's and little U's and how many hadiths you know and how many books you know and. You know, it seemed like we didn't get into that, and we kind of. Am I wrong? Am I tripping? Am I tripping when I say that?
Well, you're not really tripping, but you got to look at the perspective of leadership where you're coming from. Now you have leadership that is political. That I mean, everyone who is dependent on they give an allegiance to obey Quran and Sunnah up under them. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, this type of leader, he has responsibility to adhere to the affairs of the community. And you have a leadership in regards to scholarship, to where you have to the scholars are the people that we go to when we do not know. You know what I'm saying? They're the people of Dhikr. So the person who's a leadership and scholarship, they're not the same type of individual, same type of leader that's politically or socially, you know what I'm saying, over the people to where they adhere to the affairs of the people in regards to their social, political, and their economic, you know what I'm saying, situation that they have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Now the leadership perspective to where I come from, the way that I was raised is that the leader he shows the way, he doesn't point the way, meaning that he shows the example on how things are supposed to be done. He's the first one in the forefront to get things started and motivated and put things in their proper perspective. Here's the one that checks up on and makes sure that everyone that's up under his tutelage are in a well prosperous or decent state. You know what I'm saying? He's someone that when he's reached out to, he immediately answers their call. He doesn't keep them on hold or ignore their call or not respond to their text message or put them on blast publicly, exposing their shortcomings and their situation to the community as though they're being made the poster child for not to be a certain way. You know what I'm saying? He has an amana that is placed with him and the people, and he has an amana with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, so this is the type of leadership that, from the perspective that I come from, the glass that I look through, this is the one who I would acknowledge as being a leader. You know what I'm saying? And this is someone who I could trust. You follow to be my leader. You follow me? Because the example that I would see in him is what I've been seeing in other leaders that was my leader as well. The other thing too is that some leaders are not actually involved on the ground level with the people. You know what I'm saying? They're not in the trenches with them. They're not doing the work along with them. You know, so like when in the Battle of the Khandaq, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was active in the trench, in the trench, digging out the
ditch,
digging out the Khandaq, digging out the ditch. Because he was active. He was actively engaged in building the masjid brick by brick. To where Sayyidina Shuhada Hamza, he said, "No, what are you doing? You're the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You're an old man." And this is his uncle. He's an old man too, but he's leading by example.
right?
And this is the example of leadership that we have to follow and exemplify and internalize as well. Because the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he's the blueprint. He's the blueprint and the objective of what leadership's supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? He's the objective of what leadership is supposed to look like. So whatever knowledge of leadership that we have, it has to be fashioned off of the example that he presented to all of us to follow as an example. What, you know what I'm saying? What flaws and what flaws did Abu Bakr Siddiq have in regards to his leadership over the Muslims after the death of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? However, his caliphship was short-lived. He still exemplified leadership, the same leadership that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam exemplified. Umar ibn Khattab, the same. The only change with Umar ibn Khattab is that before he died, he had appointed a council, seven people, to appoint the next Khulafa. I mean, to appoint the next leader. You know what I'm saying? After him. Who did they appoint? Uthman ibn Affan, radiallahu anhu. After him, who was appointed?
Abu Bakr
Ali
did the
ibn
same
Abi
thing.
Talib. Nah, so Abu Bakr, he said before he died, he said, "Omar, you're the Khalifa."
Right. He
said,
made sure that somebody was in place.
He said, I won't take it. I'm not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
The people was a little mad that Umar was but he swore before the people. This goes to your point. Everybody knew Umar was a gangster. And they was like, man, listen, man, we ain't gonna be able to do nothing if Umar. And he swore to serve the people. He swore, and he gave them permission to basically remove him if he wasn't easy with the people. And that's what's key. Our leaders got to be
Amir,
easy
Amir,
with the people.
Amir Khalil and Imam Malik Robinson in the comments.
Jomo, you are other
You
elder.
know, so
Oh, my bad, my bad. I know you come back.
that's just from my perspective. You know what I mean? From what I've seen in my life, and you know, so what I've exemplified in my own life when Allah Ta'ala gave me the ability to be responsible for people. You know what I'm saying? On in Dean and in Dunya as well. Can't hop on, and I'm at the gig. You know a bum got to make a living. La ilaha illallah, subhanallah.
It's an inside joke, y'all. It's an inside
Nah,
joke.
yeah.
Well, well.
Hey,
Well,
subhanallah.
there it goes.
Yeah,
Jomo, tell us.
that's from my perspective. So you know what I mean, I'm gonna get back to, you know what I'm saying, maintaining the tribe, man. You know what I mean? I'm still listening though.
All right, inshallah. Jomo,
Assalamu
you are
alaikum
other elder,
rahmatullahi.
man.
Alhamdulillah.
Rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Now,
What?
I'm sorry for coming in late. What did I miss?
No, we having our elders kick it off with just basically what would you like to see? What is leadership to you from your experience? Tell everybody a little bit, about yourself, and from your experience, what is leadership in our community? What it looks like to you, what you think it is, with all your experience and the whole nine.
Now, Bismillah. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. I won't take too long. There's really no need to really talk about myself except to say that I've been Muslim for going on 30 years now, and I've seen a lot of movements, and my journey to Islam started in New York City as a youngster, as a 5%er, as a lieutenant in a junior FOI, and coming up through the ranks, right, and seeing a lot through the penitentiaries and everything, being an imam, and dealing with brothers, on different levels, and being at the head of a community. The main thing that I would say, and I was at a khutbah yesterday, and imam mentioned it yesterday, right? I would say that it's important for the brothers who are, I would say, under 50 and under, 50 and under, to start stepping up to the plate. It's important for and it's important for the older brothers to recognize that. He mentioned that. But a lot of those older brothers, they're getting too old now. They can't do it anymore. Right. So the brothers who are 50 and under, it's time for us to start stepping up to the plate and to start giving the dawah to our people. It's very simple. Because those brothers that been putting in work since we were youngsters from the 70s and who making the pathway for us, laying the foundation for us, here it is. Islam is easy for us to practice. Here we are, a group of us, alhamdulillah. We came together from all corners of the country. I'm here in Atlanta. Abdul Kabir is in Ohio. Imam Nadir is in Ohio. Abdul Mujib is in New Jersey / Philadelphia. Abu Muhammad is in Philadelphia. We have our brother Abu Isa. He's in Philadelphia, where he's working on the road as a truck driver, and his family's all the way in Egypt. So we coming from all different parts of the country, trying to come together to spread the message of Islam. It's in particular the message of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Right. So I think that is the most important thing for the younger brothers to maintain, to be firm of Ahlus Sunnah, and to be able to work towards one another, recognize where they're at in their lives. Because guess what? Time is running out, even for us. Time is running out. Right? All of us, no one knows when their time is gonna come, or knows what place where they're gonna meet the angel of death. Right? Put in as much work as you can in your local communities. Put in work online if you can. Right? Put in work in spreading the message of Islam. If we spread the message of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah to one person, then you did your job.
Mm.
And be firm on that. So that's basically where I see it. I mean, it's up to us to put in the work. And I'm calling everybody who's watching this video, who's sincere about Islam, join us in the effort. Join us in the effort. Nobody is trying to be a big dog. Nobody's trying to have nobody bend the knee or kiss the ring. No. We're not on it like that. Right? We a bunch of brothers. I'm one of the older brothers, like you mentioned, Abdul Kabir. But it's none of everybody knows that. I mean, if I didn't tell you my age, you probably wouldn't know my age. You probably think I'm your age, or maybe even younger. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. And before you
feel
even
me?
said something,
Yeah.
I didn't think you was been around as long as you've been around.
Yeah, but that's how. I mean, I
and you're
feel
able to relate. Both
right,
you and Imam
right,
Abu Muhammad, y'all are able to easily relate. And that's
easily,
important because y'all are so
absolutely.
closely connected with the people.
Right, and that's how I try to maintain it. I mean, right here locally in Atlanta, I mean, I fluctuate with all different brothers from the young to the old. That's how I do it. I try to keep it that way. And inshallah, Allah Ta'ala strengthen me and allow me to continue putting in the work here with you brothers. I love you brothers for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, and to keep on putting in the work right here in my community. But that's basically how I see it. Barakallahu fikum.
Okay, Imam Nadir. Now we're gonna hear from our youth. I don't want to put him out there, but we got Abu Isa Saleh Abdul Majid and Imam Nadir Abdullah. We get a youth perspective, not youth. So when I say youth, they younger than us. So they're not young.
That's understood.
What'd you say?
So make sure that's understood. I put my work yet. I ain't that young.
You've been around though. You've been around
for some minutes, but alhamdulillah.
But talk to us from your perspective, from your experiences. Definitely tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What is leadership to you, and how it should be in our community?
Yeah. So, of course, my background is just like everybody else. Streets, of course, family in the streets. Of course, some families still living that life. I went to the joint early, did some time. But there I met some beneficial people in my life, such as Sheikh Ayub, Imam Al-Rahim, his brother. We had quite a few influential people that taught me Islam, taught me leadership and all that good qualities that's necessary to lead. I personally myself do not like leading anything, but I understand the importance of it, and I think it's more so I don't like to do it because I understand the importance of it. However, there is a necessity in our community at this very time for good leadership based upon qualified scholarship. Because the problem with uneducated scholarship or uneducated leadership, it only leads to more fitna in the community. We already got enough of that, so we don't need none of that. And nowadays within our community, I think our leadership needs to be more in tune with what's going on in our communities from the perspective of being in the community. Because a lot of times our leaders, they sort of try to separate themselves from the community, right? In other words, we don't be a part of the community. We separate ourselves from the community to a point where we don't relate anymore. So you can't, if you ask some of our imams and some of our leaders, they can't relate to the youth nowadays. They can't relate. They don't understand. And I'm not saying that. I'm not giving advice for people to go out and start listening to rap music or nothing like that. But however, they don't even know the music these kids is listening to nowadays. The type of clothing they wear, how they move, the language, why they doing what they doing. You don't understand that stuff. You can't reach nobody you don't understand. You know, think about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that he was always engaged in the community. He was a part of his community. They knew him specifically as Al-Amin, right? He didn't separate himself to the point where they got to go to him and get the deen. He bring it to him. And he honored people according to their status within their society, right? So when we look at, you know, some of the stories about how he preached or how he taught Islam, he honored the people that were honorable in that society, even if they were bad people, right? According to Islam, they were considered these bad people, such as like Abu Dhar al-Ghifari, which our community can relate to his tribe more than anybody. And nowadays, they use a brigand, but nowadays we would consider him in our language, our parlance here in Ohio, would be considered to be like a jack boy.
The jack boy.
I mean, and his whole tribe, the Ghifari tribe, was jack boys. That's what they do. They was brigands, right? How many of our imams going to talk to these type of guys, these jack boys, these dope boys? You know what I mean? People that actually has influence in our community.
That's a good point.
I'm around them. You know, I know them. They talk, I'm around them. So, you know, nowadays they might have been around dope boys back in their day. A lot of the imams, they know all the big guys back in their day, but them guys ain't running the streets no more. Them guys ain't the ones that's moving the pack no more. Them guys ain't the ones that's got control and influence over the youth in the society no more. Those ain't. That's fine. They got, you know what I mean, good lineage. Let's say that. But you can't reach them with that because they ain't trying to hear that. Because nowadays they don't respect no OGs. They don't respect big bro. Ain't no big bro. They don't respect no OGs no more. So how you talking to them? Just because you mentioned, you know, you was with such and such back in the day, like, all right, he ain't putting no work in out here.
Relevance.
You know, so what nowadays is, you know, we got to have more of a inclusive nature within our practice, right? We're an inclusive label, which in our leadership, to where we not excluding anyone, because we try to push people out like, oh man, he doing this, he doing that. We don't want them brothers around us. Because it's a lot of Muslims here in Columbus, Ohio. There's a lot of Muslims here, African American Muslims, but they don't go to the masjid because they're gonna get looked at a certain way. They will get judged a certain way because, you know, how they moving. They might come in the masjid smelling like a dank sack, you know. They might come in and smell like a whole Christmas tree.
Mike got in his pocket. Mike got in his pocket. Mike got in his pocket. Praying
with a big burner on him too. You gonna kick him out of masjid?
I done witnessed some instances when the nature of the talk would turn towards those type of individuals that's coming in.
Yeah,
I seen a brother bring his girlfriend to the masjid, and next thing you know, the conversation from the talk was about his girlfriend.
Right.
I ain't seen no more after that.
But you attacking him then? Why you attacking him? So what? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a brother used to came in the masjid and urinated right on the floor. His companions ready to kill him. They done snatched him up, swords out. They about to kill this man because he done urinated in the masjid.
He don't know better.
What Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam telling you to do? Let him go. Leave him alone. He ain't know. Look, hey, somebody pour some water on that.
Yeah.
Clean it up. Pour some water on that.
Yeah.
Let him go. But he let him go. That's compassion. That's leadership. Just out of that simple act of kindness, you can reach somebody. Because he ready to give up it all now for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just because he saved him that one time and didn't treat him as if he was a villain. You know, a lot of times we treat our youth and our people that's in the streets as if they villains and attack them publicly and privately. So you have guys, you know, you might about to get a news shot. You know, these young brothers need to, these brothers is destroying our communities and this, that, you know, you attacking them. So now you are an enemy, and it's harder to reach your enemies than it is anybody else.
That's a very good point.
Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Now you are. It's simple as that.
Let me get Abu Isa and Saleh in here. I want to get y'all in together. Y'all kind of a package deal anyway. If people don't know already. Hold up. It's a way that I could do 2 at a time. Hold up. Boom. Hold up. Let me figure this thing out. Okay, I guess. Can you hear us, Abu Isa?
Nah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. So we just heard Imam Nadir speak from his perspective. Now he's not speaking just from the youth's perspective. He's a leader amongst the youth. He's a leader amongst the youth. So that ain't just no regular opinion. That ain't just no regular opinion. So before we move to the next topic, inshallah, that's when it's really gonna get greasy then. But what from y'all's perspective, y'all's experience, y'all a little bit younger, what do y'all think this leadership thing should do and should be like and should happen? What do y'all think as far as that goes?
What you want? You want to go first, Saleh?
No, go ahead. Do your thing.
MashaAllah. Bismillah wa salatu ala Rasulillah. I mean, I don't really have too much to say about it, but I will say this. Everybody mentioned their background. My background is a little different. I mean, I ran the streets as a youngin', but I ended up going to the military. And I accepted Islam while in deployment in Baghdad. So, you know what I mean? My experience is different. So when it comes to leadership, I learned leadership in the military. You know what I mean? So that's leadership to me in the military, man, that was strength, intelligence. It took planning. It took being able to be a follower, right? And it also took being able to delineate tasks to different people, not trying to take on everything yourself. So when I look at communities around our way, right, we see imams and they become the leader of the community as if it's like the church, you know, the reverend or whatever you want to call them. Everybody looks to the reverend. But Joe, look, this reverend or this imam, he might not be able to handle every little thing. All right, he studies hadith, he studied fiqh, he studied many different things, but let him do that and let him delineate people in his community that can do different jobs. I look at, you know, Philadelphia when I was there. I didn't really see much leadership there, you know, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna let Saleh say something, man, because I'm not really. It's different for me, man. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Saleh.
Yeah, you know, as of my background, you know, same thing. You know, when people speak about a product of their environment, you know, I put up a picture of me as a kid. I was 5 years old, right?
In the
And I was
Jets.
on the right on the corner, right on the corner. You know, and I was raised in the. I'm the product of a drug atmosphere and knew every drug dealer. You know, due to also my mother being one of the prettiest women in the neighborhood, my sisters being some of the most prettiest people in the neighborhood. So they always attracted the biggest drug dealers. So I knew all the big dope boys when I was a kid, and I grew up right there where everybody was slinging, their drugs at. So I'm a product of the corner boys. We called them the corner boys, right? And I went to prison. I sat with one of my greatest teachers, which was a leader, which molded us, to be the man who I am today, was Mujahid Salam, and all of us know him by Imam Salam. I had the opportunity of sitting with him for 2 years, and then I sat with Muhammad Shibli. He's one of the Shibli brothers out of the three of Ahmed Shibli, Muhammad Shibli, and Jamel Shibli, and they all graduates of Ashar, of their top of their class, and big shuyukhs of their time. But I was the main person who molded me to who I am is Mujahid. And when you're molding the people to take control, to be leaders themselves, you also pick characteristics of your leader. If we think about Abu Bakr, he had some characteristics of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Umar ibn al-Khattab has some of the characteristics. Uthman has some of the characteristics. Ali has some of the characteristics. May Allah be pleased with them all. So we pick up these characteristics of our leaders, right? And when I was out there doing what I was doing, what I seen, the organization I was in, the older guy grabbed me up. Even though he did wrong, he put me in position, right? Because he know that I had the youth and the young guys would follow me and he would be okay. And he always said to me, if you're going to do something, don't play. And I always took that into consideration. Like anything I'm going to do, I'm not going to play with it. Right? So leaderships also, knows who to put in position, molds that person to be a leader, and influence them to the best of his ability to be the best person he can be. And we're lacking that now because now we're so much in position, due to social media that, we still feel as though we want the attention. We're in a clout chasing era where everybody wants to be that person, be that guy, right? Some of the best Indians, we want to say Indians or followers, became the best of leaders. And Jomo said that in the thing as well. Some of the followers became the biggest ulama, became the biggest scholars. And we got to, think about that. How are we molding our people to become the best person, or be the next person? And forget my age, right? I'm 35. We have to ask ourselves, if I die today, or if Jomo dies today, or
He dropped out.
Yeah, he got that, man. He got that Metropolitan, man.
Yeah, pop back in.
You got that. You got to fix that Metropolitan, man.
Nah, it was a phone call. Phone call mess up your whole thing. But going back to
all
what
right. All right, with that JFS Wi-Fi, baby.
But if all of us die today, right? Do we have a 20-year-old, a 19-year-old that can step up to in place and become the imam? Forget the 30s, the 40s, and 50s, even though I understood what Jomo meant, right? But what about the younger guys? Are they prepared to stand on that minbar, give a khutbah, and to teach? Because if we're not preparing these real young kids, and all we want for them to be basketball players, and we still, no matter what we say, we want them to be rappers, right? If we're preparing them to be that, are we preparing them to be leaders in the Muslim community? And what I would say, no, right? And going back to the picture, I said, as you seen the picture that I put up, Abdul Kabir, I said, it's funny how the same building I was standing in front of, I own now.
MashaAllah.
Right? And I said, and that's how you go back to your community, right? That's how you go back and be a leader in your community, showing them that opportunity is there, right? And giving it a chance for other people to, step up and see that they can do it as well, right? And that's what we need to start doing. We need to start molding the real young guys, right? And like you said, we're missing out on the impact with these real young boys, the guys who we cast out because they come in with baggy pants, right? They come in with a medium shirt. They come in smelling like loud. We cast them out and we ignore them, even though they're crying for help the most. So what we need to start doing as leaders, and the leaders need to start doing, who is in position, to start molding the younger guys to be the next people to step up. Mashallah.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit, and we're gonna go back to Imam Abu Muhammad. We know we all talk amongst ourselves in our 18 group. I want to shift gears real tough. I really feel passionate about where we getting ready to get to right now. I want to talk about I didn't had it personally myself. Some higher ups try to silence me. You haven't studied this, you haven't studied that, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. Now we definitely know we must know what we talking about when we start talking. But what I find a huge problem about, okay, so this is the dynamic that we are trapped by. We don't have enough so-called quote unquote qualified scholarship, but we still have quote unquote qualified scholarship, but our situation is not being paid attention to. So when individuals like myself, I'm still within my studies, alhamdulillah. Whenever I do get ijazats for all of my, everything that I'm studying, I don't like spending time talking about how many hadiths I know, how many hadith classes I done took, what teacher I done sat with. I sit, if there's some individuals that can handle that conversation. I've always been taught you only talk to people, because I've been in leadership for a long time, and it didn't do any good at the time when I was like, physically in leadership, when I was in the prisons. It was, I had, alhamdulillah, I had memorized the most Quran, and this is what they based my leadership off of. But 90% of my teaching did not deal with teaching people how to memorize the Quran or what tajweed is and the ahkam of tajweed, or none of that, because that's not what's relevant to people's lives. And I never seen like a younger guy, or a guy, sometimes not even a younger guy, just a person with potential. Step was like, oh, he can read the Quran kind of good. Oh, that brother's kind of smart. I never tried to silence him. I always tried to partner with him, befriend him. Let's build a coalition. Let's, just like we doing now, let's hit this thing from every angle. So my question to the group is, to the 18, I want to get the 18s, I want to get y'all's perspective on this. How let's talk about, I ain't even gonna pose a question. I'm just gonna throw the issue up there, and I want to get y'all's take on it. Let's talk about, because we got some big names out here, y'all, in the community. Some of them from the neighborhood, some of them ain't from the neighborhood. And Imam Abu Muhammad, Ustaz Jomo, y'all know these guys personally. These big names, y'all know the big names personally. Y'all know these guys, and y'all all know each other. They had superstardom. Our issues are not being spoke about or represented by our leaders. So when we step up and we say, okay, we go, no, I didn't go to Palestine and sit and memorize with the sheikh for however long or whatever, but I still been here doing what I've been doing, working with what I've been working with. We speaking up and we speaking out about our issues. Talk about this weird dynamic that we're stuck in, where our superstar leaders don't want us to speak, but they're not speaking about these core issues, like Imam Nadir said, like brothers, are, Muslim and non-Muslim alike, they in the streets. That's what's prevalent. That's what they following. They're following the rap music and they're following all of this stuff. This is what we have to deal with on a daily basis. I want to get the group's perspective on our leadership not dealing with the issues at hand, but it seems like it's a lot of pushback for anybody that's not as qualified as they might be to speak on the issues at hand.
Abu Muhammad, tafaddal.
All right, so you put a lot of stuff out there. I mean, you didn't really like ask the question, but the thing is, like, from for example, all right, my background in regards to learning, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, you know, everybody that know me here on the platform know I'm from Chicago. And in the early 80s and in the 70s, pretty much everyone was the only material that was available was Hanafi material. So everyone was basically like default Hanafi. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, I mean, the Wahhabiyya, they had the Wahhabiyya, they had like people who they was like funding for free education and free Hajj and Umrah, or, you know what I'm saying, set the amount, you know what I'm saying, applicable for them to make Hajj and Umrah, and for individuals, and to go learn and study in Riyadh and in Jeddah and in Medina University after completing certain programs. But you had Darul Uloom Deoband there for like since the late 70s. You know, so a lot of the learning, you know what I'm saying, there in the 80s was default Hanafi. Then, you know, so when Sheikh Noor, he did his first edition of Reliance of the Traveler, Umdat al-Salik, his translation, a lot of people started like picking up the Shafi'i method due to that, right? And around like 1990, 1991, the works of the Sheikh started fluctuating through Chicago as due to you know what I'm saying, brothers like Usama Bilal Ashraf Rahimullah, and, you know what I'm saying, Sheikh Rami Muhammad and others. You know what I'm saying? So that was, you know, my basic education. I started learning the Shafi method from Sheikh Rami Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? Not just Shafi fiqh, but Creed, Hadith, Sirah, you mean the Qisasul Anbiya, just about everything in regards to learning. And then, you know what I'm saying, later on, I started learning from Sheikh Walid. Sheikh Walid is a student of the Qadi, Sheikh Abdul Basit Abdul Samad in Egypt. So my Quranic learning was through him, right? Was through him as well. You know, so even, however, I don't recite like an Egyptian. You know, so I recite like a West African, right? So, and, you know, so
you recite what?
Quran, I recite Warsh.
Alhamdulillah.
I recite Warsh. I recite
You're
Warsh.
real
and
Maliki.
I recite Warsh and Hefs. You know, so and
Alhamdulillah.
Qarloon Hefs. You know, so
Alhamdulillah.
you know, so not, you know, I had teachers in that. Like when I started learning Maliki fiqh, like learning the Mu'tamid, you know, so some of the basic books in the Maliki school, like from Sheikh Walid, who was also Maliki, he was from Egypt. And then Sheikh Muhammad Habib, you know, so I went over to Risala with him from cover to cover. And, you know, so he's from Senegal, and he was one of the many Senegalese and Malian ulama that was in Chicago that helped the brothers, you know, in the beginning, the stages of learning Maliki fiqh. Also, Sheikh Idris, that was in the suburbs, he also taught. I went over the Risala with him, but not the whole Risala. I mean, I went over like half of it up to like Hajj, and then I stopped learning with him. And then like later on, you know, so I had went over the Murshid al-Mu'in with two teachers. I went over the Murshid al-Mu'in with Sheikh Hamza Maqbal Chowdhury, and I went over the Murshid al-Mu'in with Ustad Ahmed Mubarak, and went over some other things with him as well. You know, so and that's my man. You know what I mean? That's my man. We kind of close. We still talk today. You know what I mean? He could hit me up, I can hit him up, and everything. Right? I could hit him up and everything. And when I started learning the Risala, I went over the Risala again with Sheikh Hamza from cover to cover. You know what I'm saying? But between them two, I had completed the Risala from cover to cover by myself. You know what I'm saying? But with them teachers, they explain. I got the most benefit from Sheikh Hamza Maqbal because not only did he go over the Risala, but he also broke down and explained the Amal Ahlul Medina, and he would also go over portions of Kitabul Jamia to see to show that what was being promoted and spread and defended by Imam Ibn Abi Zayd Qarawani, Imam Malik's creed. If it was a codification of his creed, it would have been codified by Imam Ibn Abi Zayd Qarawani. I mean that's why before Imam Ibn Abi Zayd Qarawani, any Maliki, they wouldn't be considered Ashari. They'll be the contemporary of Imam Abu Hassan al-Ashari. However, all of them are in agreement together. So that will be the reason why all of the Malikis was Ashari. All right, that would be the main reason. Because without him, your comment is a good point. All right, so so without him, basically there would have been a spread of the Maliki school in the West. You mean in the West, in Andalusia, in Maghreb, or anywhere else in the Western Hemisphere. Right, so and then that's some of his books are the earlier books in the method. Later books are books that that derive from the Muqtasar Khalil. All of the primary books, they're summaries of the Muqtasar, and these are still primary books, but they're still part of the Mu'tamid books that you learn the method through, whether it's in Creed, Tahara, or Salat. All right. So the thing is that a lot of these people, a couple of people that I have mentioned, they are big wigs in the West, right? You know what I mean? They're some of them doing their own work. Like one of my companions, and so he kind of like try to swear away from the fact that him and I are close. Is Ustad Ubaydullah Evans. So I met him when he was like 16 years old. Coming in the match there like 2 o'clock in the morning from hustling. And him and another brother who I had partnered up with in business some years ago. They was strong students in the Hanafi school. After Ustad Ubaydullah Evans was hanging with me and one of my other companions whose name I'm not gonna mention. He kind of like gravitated towards the Maliki school, and he had came to my job. He was like, "Look," because I had gave him one of the first books that I had started learning the Maliki school from, and he had went over that, but then he had hit me up at my job. He came like, "Man, I got this," and he had brought the he had brought the Handbook of Islam that was translated by Aisha Burley. It was one of the works of the Sheikh, where it's like 3 books in one. So I was like, I'm familiar with this already. But he was convinced that this is basically all you really needed to start out as your foundation in Maliki fiqh. So as he went on, went on in his studies, he had completed IIE and Dar Ulum. Then he got jammed up in a situation to where he had to fight a case. He got married, and then he went to Yemen and did like 6 months in Yemen. When he came back, we were just getting money, selling shoes, purses, oils, incense, jogging suits, just getting money. Then he got set up to where he got a sponsorship to go to Egypt, and he completed the program at Al Azhar, the 12-year program that actually takes 12 years. He finished it in 6 years. Right? He finished it in 6 years, and supposedly he was the first African American graduate of Al Azhar. This was like in 2007, 2008.
Alhamdulillah.
So when he finished, he came back, finished his contract with the organization that sponsored his learning, that sponsored him, finished his contract off. And then he did what he said he was going to do. He was going to get him some money. He got on the Briani lecture circuit. He started getting him some money. He lined himself with being with Dr. Sherman Jackson. Became like his protege. He hooked up with Sheikh Umar Farouk Abdullah. And mind you, Sheikh Umar Farouk Abdullah, he Caucasian, but he's very aware of of the issues that's regarding the African American community, because all of his children are African American, and
I
his
didn't know
wife is
that.
African American. They've been married now for like 50 years almost.
Mashallah. No wonder
You know
he
what I'm
talked with a
saying?
little soul, man.
You know
I
what I'm saying?
gravitated
So
towards him on YouTube before I even knew he was Malachi.
and he's from outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, well, that'll
He's from
do it.
outside of Philadelphia. I think he's from Delaware County. You know,
Okay.
so Delaware County or Montgomery County, one of the counties outside of Philadelphia. You know, so you know what I'm saying? And mind you, Sheikh Hamza, you know what I'm saying, all of us, Sheikh Hamza, Dr. Umar, all of us was in a 16-week dawah course with Sheikh Hafid Muhammad Amin al-Kalawi, who, you know what I'm saying, him and Sheikh Umar Farouk, their Sheikh is Sheikh Muhammad in Gambia. Now, Sheikh Muhammad Hafid Muhammad al-Kalawadi, I call him the Abu Hanifa of America. You know what I'm saying? I call him the Abu Hanifa of America because he's like real thorough, tidy from Indo-Pak, Desi, you know what I'm saying, background. But his sheikh looked like me. You know what I'm saying? His sheikh of Tasawwuf looked like me. You know what I'm saying? So he met with Dr. Umar Farouk. You know what I'm saying? Was instructed to meet with him from his sheikh after his sheikh had a dream that he was giving bay'ah to Umar that Umar Farouk Abdullah was giving bay'ah to him. In, you know, in his dream, he had never met Dr. Umar. He had never met Dr. Umar until later. You follow what I'm saying? When Dr. Umar went to Gambia, and I think Ubaidullah had went to Gambia with him. You know what I'm saying, during this time, and he gave the Tariqa to him. You know what I mean? He gave the Qadri branch of the Tariqa to him. You know, so that, you know what I'm saying, that's that's a little bit of my involvement or association with, you know what I mean, some of the people that, you know, we know that are known with, they are known people that's involved in the community. Now I met a couple of other people. I met Abdullah bin Hamid Ali. I met him, but you know what I'm saying, me and him never really had a conversation. You know, I met him a couple of times in Chicago. He did a couple of programs. He did a program in Masjid Fatir. He did a program in Masjid El Ihsan. The program that he did at Masjid El Ihsan was on Islamic finance. And you know what I'm saying, the program that he did at Masjid Fatir was on the Murshid El Mu'in that he had translated, the portion that he had translated on Tahara and Salah. You know what I'm saying? And I met him a couple of times in Philly, but man, him really never really had a conversation. You know what I'm saying? I didn't never really like learn from him anything directly like that to where it was consistent to where I could say that I learned from him, that he was my teacher or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But with Sheikh Rami Muhammad, I learned everything from him. Lived with him, traveled with him. Sheikh Hamza Muqbal Chowdhury, learned everything from him. You know what I'm saying? Traveled with him, helped him move, had dinner with him at his house. He had dinner at my house. You know what I'm saying? We know each other. You know what I mean? However, even though, you know what I'm saying, we don't talk anymore. Last time I spoke to him was when he was in Philly. You know what I'm saying? That's when he was working for this organization at Drexel University. You know what I'm saying? El Ghazali institution or whatever.
Institute.
Yeah, institute. You know, so we have a lot of work to do. The thing is that amongst our people, that we have people who are qualified, and we have people that are qualified that's also on the ground level. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the work that we do on the ground level is in the capacity that we're able to do. You know what I'm saying? Many of us who doing work on the ground level, you know what I'm saying, reaching out to the disenfranchised, we're not looking for any we're not looking for any recognition or
the fame
status in regards to like fame, being someone who should be taken from or anything, or that we're, you know what I'm saying, that our word is, and what we say is gold. You know what I'm saying? We're preparing the people their first steps to where they want to take on to go into higher learning, whether it's on the ground level or to go overseas. Now, back in the day, it was more feasible to go overseas because it wasn't a lot of stuff readily available for our people here. Now, it's so many institutions, so many learning programs, to where if a person wanted to learn their Islamic knowledge here, it's available for them. It's accessible for them. You know what I'm saying? If they want to go overseas, that's accessible for them as well, right? A lot of, you know, I heard someone say that many of us may not get to the point where we're speaking the Arabic language. That don't mean that we can't learn the Arabic language. The purpose of learning the Arabic language now so that we can understand our deen, we can understand the Quran, we can understand the Hadith, we can understand the explanations, we can understand the Sirah. You know what I mean? We may not never speak it.
Yeah, I don't care about speaking
however,
it. That don't do me no good.
Because of that learning, you will be able to speak. But you're not going to be thinking about it because you're not in an environment that's conducive to you going to be speaking it all the time or forced to speak it all the time. You know what I mean? So that's something that is like you may never use it in that capacity. But as far as translating books, translating encyclopedias, breaking down all the sciences and explaining them, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to do that at this capacity. You follow me? You know, so yep. that's what I guess I can I can stop my explanation and, you know what I'm saying, a little bit about myself. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
Imam Nadir.
Yes, sir.
You get your take. We running a little short because we got some business to take care of. But let me get your take on the weird dynamic that we have going on, where there's a little pushback from some of, you know, we got a small handful of people who have made it out of the community and have established themselves as imams. But like Imam Abu Muhammad said, they get on the biryani circuit, and then they, you know, they basically they kind of forget about the neighborhood, and then when guys step up, you know, we might not, you know, got to your level of shakedom, but you know, we trying to help and speak on the issue because, you know, the people who we helped uplift and get out of the neighborhood and become qualified, like the brother said, they on the biryani circuit, getting honorariums, and they forgot about the people in the neighborhood. Give me your take on that, because it's some pushback, because, you know, we got, you know, like when we come out and we make a video, we just basically exposes what the truth is, and you know, me and you've been doing this for longer than a decade now, so but you know, as a matter of fact, I had a guy that was in my inbox like, you got to have qualified teachers, and you can't do this, and you can't talk about that. You can't. And I'm like, bro, you don't even know me. You don't know what I'm qualified to do, what I'm not qualified to do, what my sheikh said, what my sheikh didn't say. So there's some rhetoric out there and some pushback. If, you know, for number one, if you're not going around dancing and praising about who your teachers are and all of that stuff. But when people come out to speak about, like you said, issues that are relevant to us, our life, our community, our neighborhoods, talk about that a little bit from your perspective, what you think about that.
Well, 9 times out of 10, a person can go the way of those who feed him. So a person gonna do what's in their capacity as long as it's feeding their family. Is it necessarily pay for play? I don't know. Might just go on it just goes on an individual basis. You can't say it's pay for play for everybody. But at the same time, when people start entering into certain arenas or certain groups and certain affiliations, you know, people tend to have to move a certain way because it's dictated or placated upon their involvement with something they deem themselves or the people that they're involved with deem is more superior or better than what they have going on in their own community. So when you get people that come up and they doing things and they involve with certain people, they have a certain storyline they must portray. And if that storyline doesn't fit that criteria, then of course they're going to make sure they adjust to stick with the program. Is that beneficial for our community? No. Is it beneficial for, say, sometimes getting the issues of the community in front of eyes in which that might help? Perhaps. It does help in some way, but at the same time, it requires some type of compromise, you know. So we have an issue with that. We have an issue with our leaders going big and then looking at the community in a disdainful type of manner. So guys get big and then they look back at the community and they talk down on the community saying, y'all ain't doing this, y'all ain't doing enough, y'all ain't getting this, or y'all ain't getting that because y'all ain't doing this. Well, just because you've put yourself in a position as a leader to be involved with certain people, that doesn't mean that your community is always capable of moving into that position, because there are leaders for a reason, right? They're leaders because everyone can't be a leader. Everyone don't have the capabilities to be a leader. Everyone doesn't have the capability to make tahajjud, right? Everyone doesn't have the ability to become hafidh al-Quran. Everyone has the ability to be sheikh. We don't need everyone to be a sheikh. Not at all. That would be a travesty for everybody to be a sheikh. Right? That would be a travesty for everybody to be a hafidh al-Quran. Not necessarily. Let me rephrase that. It'd be beautiful for everybody to be a hafidh al-Quran. But the reality of the situation is everyone's not going to be able to dedicate such time to become a hafidh al-Quran. And in that, the onus is on the person who has such a status or such a rank to know that. Because by knowing your status and understanding your status, you will be better equipped to deal with someone else's status that's under you, right? Because at the end of the day, once you understand that status means absolutely nothing, or associations mean absolutely nothing at the end of the day, because our strength or our weakness, our recognition, whether we become big or not, is not dependent on being associated with anyone. Our success is only associated with our obedience to Allah. And if we have no association, if we have no status, if we don't go beyond 2 views, either on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever social media platform, if we have one person at our masjid, but we doing that fi sabilillah, and we doing that strictly for the pleasure of Allah, we've done our job. Because our job is not to do anything but convey the message. And Allah gives success. Right? So tawfiq Tawfiq comes from Allah. It doesn't come from our own striving. It doesn't come from how much work we put in. We put work in fi sabilillah. We put work in because we seek Allah in that work. We don't seek status in that work. If we say a word to the right, alhamdulillah. If it reaches one person, alhamdulillah. If it reaches nobody, because there will become prophets who have no followers on the day of judgment. We have this in the hadith that Prophet Muhammad SAW said there would be imams, prophets that come with no followers, prophets that come with 1 or 2 followers. But are they successful? They're successful in what they were commanded to do. And what we commanded to do is to convey the message. So irrespective of where we end up in life, as far as societal wise, means rank or status, etc., we can't forget the people we trying to reach. We not trying to reach a level, we trying to reach people.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Reaching a level means nothing at the end of the day, because guess what? If that's what you sought, you will be getting that, and Allah will ask you on the day of judgment. No, you said you're trying to reach people. No, you were trying to reach a level. You got that. Now go to the hellfire. You got the level. And
that's the biggest
said
point.
That.
Right.
You was trying to say that you was trying to get people to say that you're smart. Okay, people said that. Now take the hellfire. You were trying to reach a certain level of followers. Okay, that was done. Go to the hellfire. You didn't do it fi sabilillah. Your intentions were bad. Your intentions was to get what you got, and you got it, and that's all you got. That's all you end up with what you saw. And if that's your intention, and that's your goal, may Allah make you reach that goal. That's not my goal. I can care less who listens to me, who follows me. If you like it, if you don't like it, alhamdulillah. It doesn't make, you've been knowing me long enough. I can care less about what a person thinks of me, feels of me, what opinion you may have, correct or incorrect. I'm gonna give you that same shoulder shrug. What do you want me to do?
That's the famous.
You'll get the same thing. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me, that's not going to matter. What's going to matter is what Allah thought of me. That vertical component. We forget the vertical component in our deen. The vertical component is your relationship with Allah, and knowing that Allah knows everything that you do within your heart that no one else knows. When you sitting at home at night plotting and strategizing about trying to get your goals across, and those goals do not include being pleased by Allah, right? And your goals do not include, hey, I hope this is for Allah, and any bad intention, may Allah remove that from my heart and go forward. Not, oh man, we only got 10 followers, now we trying to get to 20. Man, what we got to do? Man, I know them. I mean, try to get. No, if that's your intention, you're going to get that. You will get it. If Allah allows you to get it. But that shouldn't be a person's intention. Our intention is to convey the deen, and after that, be out with the last in Allah's hand. Conveyance, that's it. That's one of the principles is conveyance. Once you convey, that's it. Alhamdulillah, I can't make you be Muslim. I can't make you agree with me. I can't make you accept what I'm saying to be truthful. That is completely up to you and Allah. And if Allah has blessed me with a good intention, alhamdulillah, may my reward come from Allah. Not in this world, but may my reward come from Allah. If the reward come in this world, alhamdulillah again.
Amen.
But that should be no intention. Because whether you land in the gutter or you land in the penthouse, your intention should be the same. Simple as that.
I mean,
So we
I
got to
agree with you
understand
100%, man. Because when we were much younger and a very long time ago, you took off, mashallah ta'ala, not to, big you in front of the people, but you took off like a rocket. I can remember we started out Juzul Amma together, and you took off like a rocket. And I just want to give the people like honest testification to what you just said. Do you remember when when I was struggling with my memorization? Remember, you used to sit on the yard with me. You remember that? Yeah, you used to sit on the yard with me, and we used to go line for line. I'm talking about in our memorization of the Quran, alhamdulillah. And he sat with Sheikh Ayub. He was a little further ahead than I was, so I was able to take benefit from him right there. And in the prison, and at that time we were in closed maximum security. The only way that he was able to come to we weren't even in the same dorms. The only way that he was able to get to me was because he had a job working outside of the dorm, and he could come to our recreation. And he still used to sneak to that. He had a badge. They just didn't say nothing to him at the door. So if they found out, then of course they would have kicked him out of our recreation. But for the sake of Allah, there was no imam-mate position at play. Facebook, I don't even think existed at that time. And you just wanted to help a fellow brother. And I'm older than you. I'm older. That's a lot of things I see brothers get caught up in. They get caught up in how long they've been Muslim and what they've been doing and how old they are. All I seen was like, he got it and I need it. And at that time, you wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? You were not happy at that time. So, what you had, you were able to give to me. And I didn't have it. You had it, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen, by the grace of Allah. And you was able to give to me what you had. And guess what happened? After that, we separated. We hadn't seen each other in years until we both got out of prison. Both of us, a decade later. I was able to take those experiences to those other prisons and, alhamdulillah, help hundreds of brothers. Hundreds. Just that bit of sincerity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recognize that as sincerity. That you sit down, we ain't playing no basketball, we ain't working out doing no push-ups, no pull-ups. You sit down, we knee to knee, literally sitting in the grass in 90-degree weather, reciting the Quran. And that benefit that the Sheikh Ayub gave to you, and then you helped me get it. I left, you went and helped other brothers. I went and helped other brothers. And here we are today, still helping the people. Still giving what we got, which is what it all boils down to. Alhamdulillah. Well, let me get Abu Asa on here. So we're gonna close out after Abu Asa, inshallah. Give us your take on us having, our superstar imams not recognizing the work that needs to be done in our community. But guys like us, are we stepping up? Just like I just said, Imam Nadir, at that time, he was not Hafid of the Quran. He had memorized only so much. He was like 2 juzes ahead of me. And Sheikh Ayub directed me to go to him. Even though at that time he had not memorized the Quran, you know what I mean? He didn't have ijaza and all of the nice decorations and all the stuff that we make a big huge deal out of. Alhamdulillah for all of that. But Sheikh Ayub was like, sit with the brother. We didn't get to see the Sheikh but twice a week. Once for Ta'aleem and then another time for Jumu'ah. But if we had got stuck in the stuff that goes around on the internet right now, but since you are not a sheikh right now, you have not memorized the Quran, so you keep your mouth shut, you don't say nothing, you don't do nothing.
No.
If that would have been the situation, then I would not have been able to reach the level that I did, alhamdulillah, and be able to help brothers in at least 3 other institutions. Wallahi ta'ala, I used to sit with the brothers and start them at Alif Bi'ata and honestly, nobody got up to the point that I had memorized. They didn't. It was too heavy, but they learned. They learned, and they were able to learn. So basically, how do you feel about the like the talk on the internet when like you're not a sheikh, so you just need to be quiet?
Nah. Honestly, first of all, your story is beautiful. Alhamdulillah.
Just like a lot of fighter.
You know what I mean? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant both of you sincerity, as we know sincerity comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And grant you both righteous deeds, righteous actions, and success in Jannah. Allahumma ameen.
Ameen. Allahumma ameen.
Yeah, how I feel about it. Honestly, listen, man, we look around and we see these people. Oh, you not this, you ain't did this. I've been doing this for such and such amount of. I don't care, because at the end of the day, we all start off at one point or another. How many of us started off in prison? How many of us started off in the street? Started off doing something. We accepted Islam. Most of us weren't born Muslim. So you can't tell me you started off life having the Quran in your chest. You didn't start off with fiqh.
If you're from the neighborhood, you didn't.
You know what I mean? So the reality is we all start off at some point. Now, this actually reminds me of our people in general, Black Americans. If you look at the older generation, a lot of times when you see younger dudes coming up, or women too, the older generation knocks them down. It's always like that. It's always like that. Oh, now y'all young dudes, y'all mean, y'all tripping. Y'all need to sit down and watch us. But y'all ain't doing nothing for us. Y'all ain't feeding us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got to do our own. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, look, we got a situation going on right now where you got imams come in and, well, at least one, while the other imams sit there and watch them do it, right? Matter of fact, I'm sorry, hold on one second. I was watching a documentary, and it was bald eagles. Did you know the elder bald eagles will kill the younger ones if they try to get in on any action of anything, food or anything? If you go and you hunt your own, the elder bald eagle will come take your food, they'll jump you in front of your parents to get the food. Like,
that's wild.
That's exactly what Black people do. I'm serious. You got this situation going on with a big name in the community is trying to come down on the younger generation of students. For what? Trying to discredit us. What are you trying to discredit us for? You scared of losing followers? Nobody wants your followers. Nobody care nothing about your followers. You care nothing about a like or nothing. Let's get things straight. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I apologize. I can't really look in the camera. I'm driving again, but
no, it's cool. It's just Amir Khalil. I'm gonna address his comments. He made some good comments.
Alhamdulillah. But that's how I feel about this thing, man. I sit back and I watch. Even when younger people from the Salafi background, younger people go study and they come back, the elders knock them down. Or you can't talk unless you agree with us. You got to get down under us. It's the same thing, and it's a Black American issue, and we need to stop it, man. For real.
I agree.
For real. If you ain't gonna feed us the same thing you eating, the nutrition that you eating, leave me alone while I go get mine.
Period.
Don't try to dictate to me or my brothers and sisters what we doing if you eating lavishly while we eating scraps. Nah, man.
Because at the end of the day,
we ain't getting down
lavishly,
like that.
we eat scraps, we liable to take it from you.
Oh, that's what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
My OG told me on the block a long time ago, if you don't feed the people around you, they're gonna eat you first.
You know what I mean?
and it kind of seemed like it applied. I mean,
look back in the day, the goons and the go-getters, they ate just like the hustlers ate. The hustlers took care of the muscle.
They better have.
You know what I'm saying? If the hustlers were shining, you know what I'm saying, wearing $3,000 watches and $5,000 chains, you know what I'm saying, the muscle was doing the same. As a matter of fact, the muscle was the ones that was putting them up on licks to get more work. You know what I'm saying? They was the ones that was opening the doors on cats. You know what I mean, to see if they checking their temperature to see if they was gonna come retaliate or do anything to keep the other wolves off of their back.
We wolves.
Yeah, man. Listen,
You know what I'm saying?
we need to learn to work together, man.
Cats be talking real fly. In reality, back in the day, they wouldn't have been nothing but food. They wouldn't have been nothing but food, Jack.
Alhamdulillah. Let's we're gonna have to have a part 2 for this, because this conversation, this black leadership in the black community, we can go on forever about this. But I just want to wrap up and say I think I've been in leadership my entire life, man. Yeah, all the way from back. You can go all the way back to Pee Wee football. I've been a leader. When I was a gangbanger, I was a leader gangbanger. When I was selling dope, I was a leader selling dope. I ran my block. I ran my block. Anybody that know me with me or was around me when I was hustling, I ran my blocks. I didn't answer to nobody. I had my own connects, my own packs, my own everything. I had my own squad.
What you doing?
Alhamdulillah. You know, I like Umar said, those who were best before Islam, they would be best after Islam. So I said that to say, in my tenure of leadership throughout my whole life, what I found best is partnering up with other people who are, you know, who making moves. I don't have any interest in making everybody follow me or making everybody listen to me. Hey, that's more work for me to have to do. I've been in leadership. I don't want to be in no situation where I got to do everything. And especially in a situation, you know, dealing with Islam and dealing with Muslims. That's what's beautiful about, you know, our structure and our team and our spin on this whole thing. The A team, we all leaders within our own right to one degree or another. We got some brothers that's highly qualified. Like I ain't even gonna lie. The first time that I spoke to Abu Isa on the phone, I was impressed. At the end of the conversation, I was like, "Yo, we gotta work together." First and foremost, I was like, "This brother black and he's Hanbali," and I know scholarly talk when I hear it. I've been around scholars. I know scholarly talk when I hear it, and the way the brother is able to memorize concepts, scholarly concepts, and then he can convey it. I used to hear my sheikh say all the time, if you can't teach it, then you don't understand it. If you can't teach it, then you don't understand it. And the way that the brother can, you know, alhamdulillah, the way that he can break down some very, very hard concepts that we probably ever won't get into with the internet stuff. You know, man, I mean, Khalil was joking. It was like, man, when we beefing and been the house husbands of Islam, you know, we get 1,000 views. You know, I make a video about a Salafi, and I get to calling brothers out, and we get to beefing with other brothers. It'd be 1,000 views. But as soon as we start teaching and everybody get to talking about, you know, we get to show what we know for once, 79 views. But me and Amir Khalil, we got some material coming on that too. Why do the Muslims love drama so much? We got some material coming on that, the brother in school. But before we get out of here, I want to address a couple, or just put out there a couple of Amir Khalil's. He's one of our leaders, if not the leader. Like if I had to have a vote of the A team and they was gonna say who's gonna be your leader, I would say my vote would go to Amir Khalil. The brother is very like, in my opinion, this is my opinion, my humble opinion. He's very he's like a Muslim psychologist. he can break a person and people down. And make you understand what's going on with a person or with people. Like and I'm real into sociology myself, so I gravitate towards that a lot. But his first comment, which is, I mean, coming from this sociological and psychological perspective, he said the qualified scholarship rhetoric is in order to control the lower class people or a way for the bourgeoisies to continue to be considered elite. This is 100% true. When you have people that come from oppressed situations and they get on, like how we say, we gonna talk in layman terms. They get on. What does the brother that get on always do? He always flash what he got and talk, you know, in reference to what you ain't got. Always. He don't tell you how to get it. He don't set you up and get with you and be like, hey, he don't see like you might have been off about this thing or whatever, and then hit you up and be like, yo, I want to sit down and talk to you about X, Y, and Z. You don't do that. You don't do that. Automatically, this becomes a point of contention. It becomes a point of contention. So that's true. That's true. Like the brother, what you say, Abu? So my bad.
No. Just case in point. Imam told me earlier today. I know you don't know Arabic that well, so I ain't gonna laugh at you. I study. I know Arabic. You don't know me from a can of paint. Wallahi. You don't know what I know. Just because I ain't out here, I did this, I did that. Listen, you know what I mean? What makes you think you need to try to put me down like that? What you trying to? I mean, that's like what you call that? It's a complex. I'm pretty sure I make a little let us know about that. Is that you scared of something? You know? Like, come on, the case in point.
Yeah, why wouldn't that person like that grab you up and be like, hey, yo, like you did to me? That's how me and you met, remember? That's how me and you met. Like, hey, I want you came at me respectfully in my inbox. You like, hey, Salam Alaikum, I wanted to holler at you about something you said in one of your videos. And I was like, all right, bet. Let's get with it. And I tell people in all my videos, if I said anything wrong, get with me, because I'm concerned about being correct. Like with my Lord, not with the internet people and the internet community. You can keep your thumbs, you can keep your hearts. No, don't keep them. Give us the thumbs and hearts. Let us get that for our time. But me and Abu Aisha, we had a conversation on the phone and we locked horns. Like we went at it. That's how I got respect for him. I challenged him. I tested him. He challenged me and he tested me. And at the end of the day, because we are sincere, or we try to be sincere, now we're good friends. We good friends. He pulled my coattail. He didn't go and make a post about me or talk about me to another group of individuals. He didn't do none of that. He hollered at me. He taught me something. He taught me something. And he corrected me. And then in my next video, I was like, yo, I was wrong about this. I got some insight from a brother that is in the Hanbali Madhab. My light bulb went off like, yo, this it right here. I don't have to go and try to speak on the behalf of them. I'm going to make friends with an individual who can speak from the inside out, period. I don't have to. I spoke out of turn. I was wrong about what I said. And he corrected me, and it was respectful. He came with knowledge. He came with the hawk. We went back and forth, and part of our conversation was in Arabic. Was it or was it not, Abu?
Nah, definitely.
Like he recited a whole bunch of stuff randomly from the Quran, and I told him back what he said. So whether you know Arabic or not, you the best. I think you and Imam Nadir are the best out of us in Arabic, because you post stuff. And I don't think I've ever seen you post anything in our group, in the 18 group. I don't think I've ever seen you post anything in English. And I always be like, man, bro, what that mean, man? I ain't about to sit here for 2 hours trying to figure out what you done screenshotted. What that mean? So that's not true that you don't know Arabic.
And I think it's the thing of people want you to sit there and speak Arabic. The funny thing about that, right? You go to the Arabic-speaking world, nobody speaks Fusha.
Yeah.
Nobody speaks Fusha. Like, who's speaking Fusha besides foreigners? Nobody speaking no Fusha. Here you go over there to my Ana Uridu Halid 11. Into Ayazeh. You know what I'm saying? They don't care nothing about no, you know what I mean? Come on, stop trying to show off with people. Be sincere, man.
And when I was talking to my Palestinian friend a long time ago, I was telling him the Jaja. He was like, no, Jaj. I was like, no, Dajazda. He said, no, Jazz.
Frech. In Egypt, they call it frech.
That's
like, yo,
that
what do you call
broken
my-
Palestinian Amir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That broken Palestinian
You know what I
Amir.
mean?
Hey, I remember when my
We
brother
looking
was
for-
studying in Al Azhar, right? I remember when my brother was studying in Al Azhar, you know, and he would this was like back in the early 2000s, and he had once he learned Arabic, he wasn't real good with Quran, but he picked up Arabic real fast. So he would like speak to the people, and the people be laughing at him. You know, they'd be laughing at him. You know what I mean? The Egyptian people. He was like, "Wait a minute, y'all laughing at me because I'm speaking Fusha, but y'all can't even speak this language like that. Why y'all laughing at me?" I
sound like a
was
news
like,
reporter.
"Sick, you gotta learn. You gotta
News
like,
reporter.
you gotta learn the Amir. You gotta learn the public language there, man."
Yeah.
That's why
But
they
first
laughing at
things,
you, because don't
first
nobody
things
use
first.
that stuff.
Also,
Like
another
if
thing
you
is,
look at
people always talk
you,
about reaching.
if you look,
What'd you say?
I said the one thing is people always speaking.
No, I'm
talking about speaking
Imam
Arabic,
Nadir, yeah.
but the problem is they problem. How much time you say you got to speak according to people's understanding. So to speak Arabic is all it is a show. If a person keep talking about let's talk Arabic or you didn't see it in Arabic or send me the Arabic, perhaps you know the Arabic. Not saying that you don't, but however, for the mass people, they don't know Arabic. Why would I speak in Arabic? Why would I do a khutbah in Arabic? Why would I post something in all Arabic in a public forum for 99.9% of the people that might read that? It won't reach because they don't
speak Arabic
or don't understand Arabic with enough understanding to actually get what was posted. Because the problem is, just because you learn a little fatah and you learn a little nahu, a little sarf, that don't mean you understand the Arabic, because Arabic has a lot of subtle meanings. You know, it has a lot of inferred meanings. And if you don't get it if you don't like haven't studied like balagha to understand certain text, if you haven't understood balagha, it's just useless to post something out of it, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna miss something that balagha would allow you to understand because of the subtleties in the Arabic language.
Hey, tell that quick story what you was telling me that day I was working. Well, when you was talking about your lessons in Khalil, and you were talking about the different forms of water, in Arabic.
Yeah. Oh well. So anybody that studied Arabic, the brother can tell you also. When certain words are presented or something like that, they have a meaning. Even though you might look it up in Hans Wehr dictionary and it gives you a meaning. Well, it might give you 10 meanings. What meaning is meant in that context, though? Right? How do you select a meaning out of the 10 meanings that word might have? Well, if, like, say, for instance, you're looking in Khalil, he uses certain words, certain terms to mean something. And that word might mean that is strong opinion, that it might be a weak opinion, that it might be a considered opinion, saying that, you know, this is an opinion that we use, but it's not necessarily a founded opinion. It's not a mashhur opinion, or it's not a rajih opinion. It's just certain things that you might read in higher books that if you don't know the mustalahat or the terminologies of that madhab, you're going to misunderstand the whole text. You're going to misunderstand the whole text because you don't know the mustalahat of that particular madhab. And in each madhab, they have their own language. And one of the things that some of the scholars have said, that if you do not understand their terminologies within that group, you cannot speak on what they're talking about. Just as if you read a Sufi book or Sufi text and you have not understood what they mean by hulul or something like that, you can't speak or judge on that text because you don't even know their terminologies they use. Because the Hanafis might use the wajib term, right? Yeah. But they mean something. In the Maliki madhab, the wajib term mean something totally different from how it would be used according to a Hanafi, even though they're the same word. And they can be translated to mean the same thing, but the application and their usage are totally different within each madhab because they have their own terminology. You got to understand, they was in Kufa. Malikis was in where? They was in Medina. So when you have different terminologies, you have different meanings. You have different understandings. And just because you understood one term, it might not apply to the next book you read in the Arabic language. That's the subtleties of the language. So don't hit me with, oh, I read this, and I read that, and only book you studied in Arabic was Ajurumiyya. Alhamdulillah, that's a good book. That's a good start. You got a good start.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
when you
hard
have-
book.
you have-
I just found out that there was 2 books on top of that. I didn't know that. I was so proud that I had been through Ajurumiyya and I'm reviewing it, trying to
Right.
master it. And I just found out there's 2 more books bigger than that. I'm like, man, listen.
That's where you begin. That's not where you end. So you might say Ajurumiyya, you got Qatrun Nada, you got the Alfiya of Malik, you got more text on Arabic that gets deeper as you go, right? And one of the things that
Matter of fact, you got madhahib in the now.
In Arabic.
Yeah, in Arabic. You have you actually have the madhahib in the Arabic language. And people don't even know that.
That video I put in our group earlier, and I was like, I'm in class, y'all. That's what that Ustad was explaining. Somebody asked him a question about sarf, and he said, well, it depends on what madhab in the Arabic you're in. I was like,
right.
What? So these things are not internet conversations. Like this. This is not that's not the thing
But
that
you'll
you
never
use
hear about
to
it.
try to prove that you're knowledgeable.
You never hear about it. You never hear about it. Most people don't even, you ain't your Mughlil Labib. People don't even know what Mughlil Labib is by Ibn Hisham in the Arabic language.
What is that?
You grab. Hold on. So.
I done got him started, y'all. See,
You know what I mean?
see what we talk about. We can do this if they want to play the scholar game,
we
can do it.
Mughlil Labib, right? Mughlil Labib. If you look in here, they might give you. I believe it says for the word min, the preposition min might have 13 meanings. Min, just the simple min. We all understand it to mean from, right? Such and such went, sir, from, min, such and such. Okay, but it has 12 different meanings. Which one you picking when you understand it and when you read it? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think
If
most
you don't
people
know
do that
these
with
People
English.
that really don't know that, how can they have a conversation about that? Like, where will you start?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you said, it's different madhabs in the Arabic language. You got the Kufans, and you got the Basrians. Everyone has a different understanding of it, but all of them, again, if you don't know their madhab, how you speaking on it?
Yeah, and then even after that, once you talk about somebody's Hanbali, Shafi'i, Hanafi, Maliki, how they use those madhahib, the primary madhahib of the language may be different depending on how they understand certain things in the madhab, in the fiqh madhab. I mean,
Right.
it goes deep. So it's like to try to shine on somebody like that is corny. It's corny.
Right.
You know what I
It
mean?
shows that you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All it shows me is that you don't understand the nuanced meanings in Arabic and the nuanced meanings in just Islamic scholarship. People think Islam is easy. When we say that, when people say that, it really belittles Islam. Islam is a very particular and sophisticated science. This is not for just lay people to go in and pick up a book and think, oh, well, I know this. This is a very sophisticated science. It's not, this is stuff that civilizations were built upon. This is stuff that sciences were built upon. that modern medicine was built upon principles established in the Islamic community by Islamic doctors, by Muslim doctors. Muslim people put these things into effect. This is not a simple
astronomy
religion.
as well.
Astronomy.
Yeah.
This is not a simple religion. We got a lot of foundational sciences within the world today, from astrolobes and algebra. This is and all of it was founded upon Islam. It wasn't founded upon just because we were trying to look into science.
No.
They were looking into things to prove Islam, not to prove nothing else. You're not looking at did we know Allah exists because I can find this in the world. I can look at in the sky and see Thuraya, one of the constellations, and know Allah put that there. So, we got to understand that we got to stop making this religion as if it's some type of fool's religion.
Yeah.
Some type of charlatan's religion. And anybody can speak on anything and say anything about anything and get away with it. This is not a charlatan's religion. And if a person has the ability
and stop being arrogant, people.
And stop being arrogant.
Stop being
arrogant religion.
Yeah. That's I think I think there's a lot of subtle arrogance out there. I think it's very, very, very subtle, man.
A lot of times people don't know how to say I don't know. That's the biggest problem.
Right.
Yeah. But
you can watch somebody sit there and tell you should say you don't know if you don't know, but then in the same breath they sit there and say something that they don't know. And won't apologize, won't take it back, won't clarify, and get mad
That's
at you.
The problem with arrogance.
Privately.
That's the problem with arrogance. That's the problem with arrogance. But I think like for individuals who have as much potential as we do, I think that when our superstar scholars, when they get wind of these things and they learn about them and they know about it, what's wrong? When they learn about it and they know about it, that they should do what my sheikh did, Sheikh Rami. He did. He know what I know. He taught. He taught and teaches me. And once he's seen that I started going online and I started to speak out, he gave me his support. He didn't say, "Oh, you don't know this, you don't know that, you don't know this, you don't know that, you don't know this." He didn't do that. He like, hey, any help that you need, and that's been his move from the beginning. His whole entire curriculum was built to empower brothers that have the potential to learn the higher sciences of the deen. His work is hard. All of his textbooks is this big. And mind you, it's harder if you don't have that suhbah. We didn't have that suhbah with Sheikh Rami at first. We didn't have that at first. All we had was he gave us a book, he gave us curriculum, he gave us the option to memorize it and then get on the phone with him and recite it to him, or we take a test. We have to take a test, and it ain't. At first, my nafs was like, "Oh, this is gonna be easy because I got the book right here." No. Listen, he's asking you to explain. You got some of the answers to the questions that I had to ask. It'd be a one sentence question, and the question it would be like 3 pages. I would have to answer the question. It'll literally have to be like 3 pages. So his as a true leader, Sheikh Rami is a true leader. He saw the potential in us. And as opposed to striking us down and telling us what we don't know and who we, all of that stuff that, people like to do on the internet, he got with us. He got with us on our level. And he even told brothers, because he's Maliki, it was other brothers that seen that and they not Maliki, they were Hanafi. They was like, "Oh man, it's asking me if he could find us a share." He, just like you said, Abu Isa, he didn't start going and try. Wallahi, he never tried to go and answer questions about the Hanafi madhab. Never. You know what he did? He went and got the one of the prominent shuyukh of the Hanbali madhab over there where he's at on the West Coast, and told me it was like, tell all the brothers I can hook him up with that brother, and he can teach them the Hanafi madhab.
That's
I was Hanafi.
for ilm. That's a respect for ilm.
He didn't go and talk out of turn. He didn't speak out of turn. He didn't challenge brothers. He didn't do none of that. And still to this day, he befriends. I know sometimes he be looking at some of the material because out of nowhere, when he's saying what I done got into, he just sent me a whole package full of books, a big box full of books. It was like, get with me when you're done reading them.
Alhamdulillah.
A tough seer. He helped me. You know, he helped me. He befriended me. He's trying to empower. He's trying to empower my potential, not take it from me and put me up under him. He ain't doing that. And that's how I want to end this. That's not what real leadership does. I can't remember which one of y'all brothers at the beginning of this conversation said it, but at the beginning of this conversation, y'all said it. A real leader puts other leaders in position.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what a real leader does. A lion recognizes a lion. One of my old heads taught me that a long time ago. A lion recognizes a lion. You can't treat everybody like they're a gazelle just because you want that person to be a gazelle. That's how you gonna get ate.
And if you see somebody with
you better recognize that this is a lion,
and they don't know, teach that person so that they can be that leader that they need to be.
That's what's beautiful about the A-team. We all in our lanes. We all respect each other. It'd be a lot of times we hit each other up in our group and be like, hey, what does the Hanbali Madhab say about this? What does the Shafi'i Madhab say about that? We respect everybody where they at. They in their lanes. Brothers got their own stuff going on. Solid. He got his Dawah center. He getting ready to open up. We got Masjid Uthman done photo. Them brothers already established, already got a community. The fact that they donate their time, I'm so honored by that, man. I'm so honored. So many people won't even talk to individuals that want to have these kind of conversations. And we got brothers that's willing to, with their sincerity. Amir Khalil and Imam Abu Muhammad, they definitely got a reputation to uphold, because I know it's what a lot of these big superstars are worried about, their reputation. They got a reputation. They got a masjid and their doors are open every Friday like everybody else's. They got a reputation to uphold too. But what's the reputation that they want? And this is what I respect. What's the reputation that they want? They want the reputation of being for the people. They ain't ducking no work. Now, all these issues, when I get to talking out, because y'all know I go a little off the deep end, and I get to talk about stuff that don't nobody want to be talking about. They right there with it in the thick of it, trying to have this conversation.
Hey, I wanted to just bring one more point, if you don't mind, inshallah. This idea of, if you go overseas or you look to an Arab or a Pakistani or whatever for knowledge, then you're dealing with Arab or Pakistani, whatever, slave masters. Anybody that tells you that, they calling them, they more than likely they calling you Tim. Be careful of people like that, because the reality is, more than likely they learn from Arabs. Why can't you go learn? What's the problem with you going to learn?
Or Pakistanis.
Yeah.
Or Pakistanis.
Or
Africans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
Why I gotta listen to you? Why can't I go learn from you?
Yeah.
And then when I come back, you don't want to listen. You don't want me to talk because you want me under you. It all comes full circle. Again, we go back to, you know what I mean?
Game recognized game.
Yeah. So be careful about these things, man.
Definitely.
You see the same people posting pictures of themselves with Arabs. You know what I mean? North Africans, whatever you want to call it, they posted them pictures of themselves up there, hugging and shaking hands, and but you over there with your slave masters. Shut up, get out of here, get out of here.
Yeah, I ain't never needed no clout, man. I'm used to people get clout off of me, and I got plenty of it for you. You can have it, because I don't want it. You can have it. I don't need. I very rare. I didn't even post my first sheikh's. I didn't even post his funeral. I didn't even blow his son. Me and his son, who has now taken over for our sheikh. I ain't even blowing his phone up with all the fake love. Now I'm on first name basis with his son. When they come and talk to Sheikh Yahya,
I know.
when they come
You
and
gonna
talk to
put her
him, we
down,
kiss
or
his
you gonna
hand
hold her and stuff. She
because
wants
of
you to
who
hold her.
his father is and who he became. Me and him on first name
That's your
basis.
cat.
Most of the time when we get together, we're
Okay.
laughing and joking and talking about stuff. So we can post pictures all we want. We can post pictures and videos and all. Forget all of that. At the end of the day, and we got to close this out because my Bengals getting ready to come on. Who Dizzy?
Go
Anyway,
get
yeah.
beat today.
Oh, let me. Where I mute his mic at, man? Hold on.
Yeah, gonna get beat today. Let's go. Tighten up. Tighten up. Hold on.
Oh man.
Hold up. Oh.
Oh no, he didn't, yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you gonna get this video reported.
Yeah.
Now you gonna get this video reported.
What you say now? What you say?
Now you gonna get this video reported, man.
What you say?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm on that today.
Yeah,
Yes,
I hope
sir.
somebody screenshot this after we put it down on you. All right, y'all, let's close this up, man. That was a good one. I appreciate everybody for coming out. I mean. Y'all enjoy. I know we don't want to interrupt y'all's football. So y'all enjoy the Saturdays. Y'all watch y'all some football. Inshallah, we got some big things coming, y'all. So y'all stay tuned in with the A team. We not into keeping knowledge away from the people. If that's what I wanted to close with. If somebody's telling you to be quiet, but they're not giving you the knowledge, don't listen to that person. Don't listen to that person. If they are empowering you and they are giving, and I ain't talking about these type of videos, what I'm making. I ain't talking about these type of videos on the internet. That ain't teaching. That ain't learning. That ain't that. That ain't that at all. If a person is not putting you on, they can't tell you how to move. They can't tell you how to move. Well, I'm from anyway. I don't know how it is where y'all from, but if you ain't feeding me, you ain't helping me feed me, you ain't got nothing to say about what I'm doing. Period. 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 And us,
what they say around
we
the
helping
way?
each other eat.
What you eat don't make me
go to the bathroom.
You know what I mean? Like football, man.
Very true.
I love y'all,
You ain't
brothers,
put my
man.
that plate in front of me. I don't owe you no thanks.
All right,
y'all stay tuned. We got a lot of 18. Go check out Masjid Uthman Danfodio, their page. Check out the Solutions Podcast, their page. And then stay tuned with all the other brothers, Abu Isa. We all working together on these platforms to try to bring, we're trying to get everybody close to the imams and the shuyukh. We know that there's a disconnect between the imams and the shuyukh. We're not the brothers that's going to hold it against you that you haven't learned how to read Arabic yet. We're going to teach you how to read Arabic. We're going to teach you how to read the Quran. What we learn from hadith sciences, fiqh sciences, everything that we are learning, we're going to be giving it up and giving it away. So y'all stay tuned, inshallah.
And if we can connect you with those that can. I ain't mean to cut you off, but you know.
No. That was perfect. Well, I love y'all for the sake of Allah. Y'all have a good evening. I'm finna go get me some dinner. And I'll be to see you, Mr. Imam Nadir. I'll be to see you, man. Stay by your phone, brother. What's that? Is that a cleaning rag? That is a nice. Hey, he like to find things in life. That's a nice cleaning rag he got right there.
Yeah, all right.
Go dust your stuff off.
We gonna clean y'all up.
Whatever. I want to give a shout out to this bro. I can't see who this is. It's a Facebook user on my part, but this brother who's made this comment. Can y'all see who that is?
Yeah, that's
who's that?
Brother named what's his name? Farouk Thomas.
Oh, that's Farouk Thomas. Yeah. I wonder why. That's my guy. I wonder why I can't see his.
You probably gotta go.
You gotta see it on. It's on. Yeah, it's on Facebook, but you can't see it.
Yeah. I'm on the software. That's why I can't.
What did he say?
No, he said he made a few comments. You know, the brother always contribute, man. in the most
Nah.
respectful manner. Farouk, I didn't know you was Hanafi. He said he was Hanafi when we was bringing that up, talking about the Hanafi brothers. Yeah, I didn't know you was Hanafi. I thought you was Maliki. We've been looking for a Hanafi contributor, man. We gonna need you for Farouk. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you up, Farouk. I'm gonna hit you up, inshallah. Nah, he was just agreeing with with the content in the video. He was disagreeing with it. At one point, he said like, you'll need no jazzers in the street. You need street cred in the street.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. All right, inshallah. Let's get up out of here. Hey, Malika Muhammad. Salam alaikum, sister. Salam alaikum. Sorry, I don't know if I seen you on there. Now I always shot you out. I didn't see you if you was on there. I was trying to do my DJ thing, but alhamdulillah. Thanks for tuning in, sis. I don't know if you got to see all the video or not or whatnot. I don't know if you made any comments. Now there's some other comments I couldn't address or whatever. We right at 2 hours, y'all, so we gotta wrap this up. People get bored. All right, y'all. Love y'all for the sake of Allah. Kuli kala hadha wa astaghfirullah wa la ilaha illallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.